Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Powers of 10, issue number 3. That's right, we skipped right over House of X, issue number 3, went straight to issue 3 of here. Why? You'll understand when you read the comic book. No spoilers until after I tell you who made the comic book, but after I tell you who made the comic book, everything is spoilers. This is not a spoiler, what I'm about to do. I'm about to help you out a whole lot. I didn't realize this until much later, but I'm glad that I grabbed these two. Yes, they're actually two different covers. Look at them. There's a lot of people who just didn't get it. This is one of those. I thought Marvel stopped doing these. The hidden secret double probation covers, the variant covers. Yeah, these are not technically considered two different covers according to the buy list. Marvel just throws them in with the main covers. So this is the x to the exponent of 0, and this is x to the with the square with the exponent of 2. Yeah, so x squared, x 0. Yes, that's what they are. I like that, and I'm talking about the timeline, of course. So the current, what we're used to timeline of the X-Men, 0, and the 100 years in the future timeline, x squared. This was crazy, my peeps. This was crazy. I'm going to have a whole... like I said, I'm going to have to give a lot of spoilers about the comic book itself. I'm going to have to tell you why... one of those spoilers is why this issue is called This Is What You Do. I'm going to have to explain why I like Hickman so much, because apparently I now have to defend my appreciation of Jonathan Hickman. I'm going to have a whole lot to say about the people who can't keep their damn mouths shut. But hey, that's me. Let's go. All right. This is Jonathan Hickman on writing. R.B. Silva does the art. Marty Gracia does the color art. VC's Clayton Cowles on letters. Tom Mueller doing the design. R.B. Silva and Marty Gracia doing the cover art. Whole bunch of people doing the variant cover. And X-Men was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. This issue, like I said, is called This Is What You Do. My peeps, we get right away, yeah, since this is that early one, I can't wait for them to put previews up for this comic book. They don't put early previews up for the Powers and House of the X's books, the Tens books, whatever. So anyway, they give all this stuff. The basically his horsemen, all right, and they give all this stuff too. The other side of the equation. They give a lot in here, my peeps. They give a lot. That character who's always talking to Nimrod the Lesser, that is Mother. Mother also has something to do, she's pure-blooded mutant, has something to do with Akaba. Interesting. So, definitely has something to do with Apocalypse. Could this be an Apocalypse clone? Oh, what the hell are we doing here? Especially since Apocalypse is still alive. Ensaban Nora himself is still alive during this time. My peeps. One of the reasons why I like Jonathan Hickman so much is I think that he and I both share a similar understanding of what the greatest enemies of the X-Men have always been. I have always loved Nimrod. Master Mold also. And I was genuinely saddened when they combined Master Mold and Nimrod together to form Bastion. Bastion's a tough bastard in and of himself, man, but this inhuman-looking enemy going after the mutants for being different, even though they look more human, even the Morlocks would at least look more humanoid than Nimrod, right? I loved Nimrod. I've always loved Nimrod. Always thought he was one of the best villains, the best enemies for the X-Men. And I'm just saddened that that just doesn't seem to be the case anymore with most people. But Hickman brings him back. Nimrod the Lesser, Nimrod the Greater. Love that. Anyway, Mother, right there, having a conversation with Nimrod. Interesting. You look at her and it's like, oh yeah, she is somehow related to Ensaban Nor. Must be, right? Anyway, we get this whole entire issue is steeped in the X2, the X squared timeline. So 100 years in the future. We get this guy, I'm just going to call him Wagner. I forget if they actually said his name in this. all these books, I got to read them again once all 12 issues drop. But I'm just going to call him Wagner for now, the Red Future, 100 Years in the Future version of Kurt Wagner. He took an apocalypse seed in order to get rid of his pacifism, which was genetically brought down with him, so that he can go and take out some of the bad guys here. This was, I believe, my understanding of this is that this is Cyclops' team that was sent forward, which means that was not Cyclops, that was not Professor X, that's not even Magneto that we're looking at. This is the future versions of them. That's right. So when everybody's sitting here saying, well, it's Professor X with the portable, I came up with the portable Cerebro thing, but you get what I'm saying, right? Yes, they're seeing all these mutants being born and whatnot for the first time. It's not Professor X, but it's him in the future. It's his future clones and whatnot. Oh, man. This story is just getting steeped, baby. Wow. Wow. So that's not actually Cyclops that we see. It's Cyclops in the future, which is why he's got his eye. For undeniably, why he's got his eye. Why? Because he never lost it. That's a clone. Anyway, are we going to understand more about what's going on? Is he going to get his eye back? I'm not there yet, dude. I'm not there. We're not there yet. But we're getting there. It's all slowly being dropped. God, I love this event. So, we'll just call this the House of 10. No, 10, the X10. X10, we'll call it X10. How about that? What have you now? These guys are the distraction. Cyclops apparently didn't go with these guys. He just had to form a team. He sends these, I don't know what he was doing. Cyclops is not the kind of person to stay behind, but this also isn't Cyclops. So I don't know. But for now, he sent this team forward, and these guys were the distraction. This is a badass team. You make absolutely no bones about it, my peeps. Holy crap. If I can find the freaking page, there we go. Look at this team going forward. Boom. We are ready to kick your sorry butt, Nimrod. Do they? Well, it's not actually Nimrod that they face, it's Mother and all of her mutants. They're just basically there to provide the distraction. Nimrod chose to stay behind. Maybe they were hoping that wouldn't be the case, but Wolverine, and is this our actual version of Wolverine? It might be. We don't know yet, but it might be. I do know, though, that Moira is in a coma. Guys, I told you, this is all spoilers, right? Moira is in this coma. How did she get in this coma? That's actually really easy. You have to look at the timeline. There's only two important timelines happening here. The 9th one and the 10th one. The 9th one is the one that we're reading right here in this book, in the Powers of 10 books. This is the 100 years in the future one right here. The 1,000 years in the future one, maybe Moira is not even present for that. Because remember, her 10th life cycle is her last as a mutant. I believe it's the 11th one. She comes back and she only goes to about 13 years old, so she would actually die right around here before she actually becomes a mutant, before the mutant gene actually activates. So she gets hit she's in like a car accident or something like that, and she dies right around here. Yeah, like at 10 years old. Anyway, but what do you call it? The 9th life cycle, that is this book. That's the House of, or the Powers of 10 book. The 9th life cycle is her last chance to really get it right. So we're going to follow, it's the brown one, right? And this is the one, this is where we're at in the House of X books. This is the ones that we're exploring in the House of X. What's going on? What are the possibilities of all these things happening? Whatever. But this one here, the brown one, is the one that we're following now to the back of this book. It's the only one that continued on for quite so long, went into a coma, and then was woken up in this book with that, what do they call it? It's right there. The Nimrod origin files. The most important thing that these guys have had to figure out was when Nimrod was born, which is actually 50 years after the birth of Moira McTaggart, or the first time that mutants existed. Shoot, that's an interesting singularity. Anyway, it's when she's 50 years old, though. That's kind of important to this story. They had to figure all, not just when, but where, all of that stuff. So they got his origin there, and most of those mutants wound up being killed in the meantime. Guys, Ensabah Nor versus Nimrod the Lesser. They could have had a whole nother book, and Hickman could have just shut the hell up and just let R.B. Silva draw this, and I would have been like, yep, I'm buying this book. Mm-hmm. Woo! Because, wow. Wow. You want to talk about superpower beatdowns that we never thought we needed, but yeah, we do? That happened here, baby. Woo! So, yeah, I like that Ensabah Nor came off as a total badass in this. He didn't have to win the fight. That's not what this was about. But when you think about the ultimate in evolution versus the systemic ultimate in evolution, mutant, machine, with human somewhere in between, I feel like what is that what was the name of that final battle in Return of the Jedi? The music that was playing there, oh, when Luke and Vader were going at it, I feel like that should have been playing, because I'm just like, this didn't go on long enough, and it went on, but not long enough for me. Not long enough for me. Hickman. Here's the ultimate spoiler, I guess. This issue is called "This Is What You Do." There's a bunch of people who think that, you know, me and a bunch of other people, that's what's so funny. Listen, there's some people who don't understand certain art styles. I don't care if it's literary, if it's figure painting, if it's oil painting, I don't care if it's freaking Play-Doh, okay? The idea is that there are lots of different kinds of art out there, a whole lot. We're not all going to get all of them. So many people can look at the Mona Lisa and say, huh, and get different impressions of what is actually there. Some people just can't even look at it. It's like, who cares? Some chick with a half a smile, whatever, and leave. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go look at porn. That's the kind of art I like to look. Good, go look at porn. I'm not going to berate you, but it's funny to me. I feel like it's like when someone looks at Pablo Picasso and says, how is this thing worth $10 million? Because I don't get it. So what do? They immediately start bashing other people. Look, man, we've all got different tastes. We've all got different tastes. There are people who can't wait for the freaking Snyder Cut. There are people like me who's like, we saw the Snyder Cut, but the post-production was done by Joss Whedon. You're not going to get a different movie by having freaking Scott Snyder do that stuff. It doesn't make sense. It's the same movie. But, you know, there's still people who are just like, no. I'm a Snyder aficionado. Okay, cool. And I don't get it. I'm not here to bash those people. But that's also a fairly small, you know, contained audience. But when you have something like this where most people who have read Hickman, I would say, what would you make the equation at? Like, you know, 98% of people who read Hickman love the work that he does. Love the work that he does. If you don't like Hickman's work on Fantastic Four, you are you are in the minority. That's not a bad thing. It becomes a bad thing when you start bashing other people, because all this basically says is, everybody else likes this, but I don't get it. I don't see the Easter Bunny in the mall. So I'm going to spoil things and say bad things for this little kid because I can't understand. That's all that you're doing. And I can assure you nobody is hurt by that. You have all the pain in the world. And you have my sympathies for that. But that's all you have. It's cool to not like Hickman. I don't care. I don't think Hickman cares. At the end of the day, it is what it is. But if, for any reason, I were ever charged with defending what I appreciate about Hickman, here's something that I would do. I would open this book up, and I would find towards the end of the actual story where Moira gets the seed, and that's when she wakes up from her coma. Now she's got all the information that she needs about Logan. I'm not going to show you this last page. I'll tell you about the last page, but I won't show it to you. because you need to buy the book. I will tell you that when she wakes up, she now knows what she has to do because she's got one more lifetime to get this right. Only one. That's what Destiny told her, right? Maybe Destiny lied to her. Who knows? But that's what we know right now. And we don't know anything about the 6th timeline yet. Except maybe the Phoenix 5 were involved in that. Maybe that can do something else also. Who knows? 5 Phoenixes. Where did that force go? But the trick is, here is Moira, who now needs to go back to the beginning again to try and get things right. Now that she has that pertinent bit of information, the origin, when, where, who, what, when, where, why, how much, whatever, of Nimrod. Maybe now they can do things right. Maybe. That's cool. When she says the line, "This is what you do," when you see the look on her face, that one feature on her face, and then you see what happens afterwards, I was moved. That was, wow. Hickman gets these characters. He's not just about the big flashy storyline, all the crazy action, throwing a bunch of sciencey stuff. He also gets the characters. He genuinely does. He gets their enemies. He gets their heroes. This was a really amazing issue. Like I said, I got choked up at that moment. Because, man, this character was just steeped in blood and death. Ooh. Anyway, I thought it was amazing. Now, can we get into a little bit of speculation? I kind of already, this is what I get for thinking with my mouth instead of, planning on exactly what I'm going to say, instead of scripting myself. With the 6th storyline, the only thing they really showed us was the Phoenix 5 in that storyline. Could it be that the Phoenix Force sees Moira McTaggart, and since Jean Grey has already established, you and I have nothing to do with each other from this point on. I know you love me, but I'm just not that into you. Could it be that the Phoenix Force will see another creature? Maybe it doesn't have the same powers that she represents, but more of the same origin. Rebirth. Over and over again. Could it be that the 6th lifetime of Moira McTaggart, that lost lifespan, will have something to do with the Phoenix Force? When we saw the Phoenix 5 defeated ultimately, what exactly happened to the Phoenix Force again? No spoilers. I think that we might see something where Moira would actually get something else. Maybe she's not really mutant. Maybe this is simply something that the Phoenix saw in the character, and that's why this kept on happening. Maybe that's why a lot of people are like, well, how come she never registered as a mutant before? It was literally the first issue. Well, the second at that particular point. The first issue of this comic book. This is a tapestry. This is not a regular comic book. This is a tapestry. That's how Hickman writes. And he keeps on giving just a little bit of it. He doesn't give disinformation. That's one of the things I love about his work. Too many people, when they try to write like this, they have to throw out nuggets of disinformation. Case in point, and just is what it is. I'm not trying to bash anybody at this particular second. But when you look at something like Heroes in Crisis, the entirety of that book was disinformation, 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 disinformation. And in the very last issue, okay, here's the truth. How the hell were we supposed to figure anything out there? How were we supposed to figure anything out there? We could have ignored everything the first issue and just read the last issue, right? Hickman doesn't work that way. He says, this is what I got. I'm going to give them this much now. He rations out information and gives it to us in the proper, prescribed dosages. And then just boom, there we go. Guys, I love what Hickman does. If you don't, I can't help you. I'm not here to help you. I'm here to say what I said, and if you don't get it, you don't get it. It's not a bad thing. When you start insulting other people, please understand, most of us, I think, are adults right now. And what do we know about bullies? Bullies project. Bullies project. I'm sorry if you can't understand what this book is, but I honestly, I'm not here to change your diapers. You either get it or you don't. I don't know why you're watching this review if you don't get it and you're so angry about not getting it. Go ruin some kid's life in the freaking mall and tell him there is no Easter Bunny. In the meantime, don't forget there's the secret hidden variant cover, a whole bunch of really good covers out there. Yeah, this is an amazing story. Wow, this story's amazing. This issue is really good. And there's that choke up moment for me. God, he really gets our fuzzy friend. All right, guys, I'm out. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.